Hello children, welcome to the 10th standard second language English, Prose 8, Science and Hope of Survival. This has been written by Kailas Buruk. This is the session first of the two. Let us do a simple activity. I suppose this is very easy for you. Are you ready? Do you know these people? Yes, come on, match it. Yes, the first one is a tailor. Next one is mechanic. Yes, farmer, scientist. Very easy, right children? Okay. Now, when you talk of 2020, what comes to your mind? I am sure all of you will never forget this year in your lives. Now, what comes to your mind? Correct. All of us think of a pandemic. Now, in order to bring this pandemic down to normalcy, who were all active? First of all, it was the politicians who took lot of care. Next, it was the scientists, because these two people were the ones who took lot of initiative to curb, to stop the pandemic. Now, what was needed? Medicines. Now, who would do it? Yes, it is the scientists, of course. Therefore, it is obvious that scientists are very, very important. Not that other professions are not, but scientists are very important to all of us. Now, they are the ones who have actually saved the world from the pandemic. I suppose you agree, children. They have found a vaccine for this, and there were a lot of other such pandemics before, and they were the ones who have saved us all the time. Therefore, science became the hope of survival. In today's class, we will be studying this lesson, Science and Hope of Survival, written by a scientist, Kailas Buruk. He was a Russian scientist. Now, let us know about the author. Our author here is Vladimir Kailas Buruk. He was a Russian scientist born on 31st July 1921. He was born in Moscow, Russia. He was a Russian by birth. He was a mathematical geophysicist and a seismologist. Now, who is a seismologist? Seismologist is a person who studies earthquakes, the tremors that occur during earthquakes. He educated from the Russian State Geological Prospecting University. Now, he has written many books, some of which are predictions of extreme events in nature and society and problems in dynamic and seismicity of the earth. The awards that he has got are Order of Friendship, Order of the Badge of Honor. He died on 19th October 2013 in Culver City, California, United States. Now, before we go deep into this lesson, let us understand the setting in which he has written. What was the situation in which he has written this particular essay? In the textbook, it has been taken from one of his essays, only an extract has been taken from his essay. He starts his essay saying that this was the time when the World War II had ended, and the world was then divided into two blocks. So, the Europe was then divided into two blocks, the Western bloc, which comprised of the USA, UK and allies or friends, and the other part was the Eastern bloc, the USSR and the allies. Now, the World War II seemed to come to an end. Now, if you see this picture here, you can tell. What is this picture, children? Yes, this is the bombing of the two major cities of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that marked the end of World War II. We can see so many graves here. So this marked the end of World War II. Did the war really end? Yes, that is what Kailis Baroque writes here. Now he brings in the concept of Cold War. So from 1945 to 1991, this whole period is called the Cold War period. What is this Cold War? This Cold War is the open but yet restricted rivalry or enmity that developed after World War II between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective allies over issues of ideologies and power. ಅಂದರೆ ಯುನೈಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಷ್ಯಾ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಶೀತಲ ಸಮರ. Now you can see here, the Russian are on one side, USA and UK are on the other side. So all of them had this kind of a anger which was seething inside them. ಒಳಗೊಳಗೆ ಕೋಪ ಇತ್ತು. They wanted to be the best. They wanted the power. Now this led to an Iron Curtain, which was a political boundary dividing the Europe into two separate areas. Iron Curtain symbolizes the efforts by the Soviet Union to block itself and its satellite states or the allied states from open contact with the West and its allied states, which means the Soviet Union did not want its friends to become friends with the USA bloc or the Western bloc. So this is what is represented as the Iron Curtain. This word was first used by Winston Churchill in one of his speeches. Now you can see here. So it is nothing but the Iron Curtain which has separated the two areas. You can see this green line here. So this is the Iron Curtain. So once the Iron Curtain came to an end in 1991, that is, the Cold War came to an end in 1991, and that was when the Iron Curtain here, you can see, this is a symbolic. Today it is a relic. ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕುರುವಾಗಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So we can see that the Iron Curtain separated the two areas from the end of the World War in 1945 until the end of Cold War in 1991. So this is a relic which is going to remind us of this Iron Curtain which was there between the two European blocs. Let us learn new words, their meanings and the word usage before we look into the lesson. The first word is survival. It means a state that continues to live or exist. Let's use this in a sentence. His survival kit had everything he needed. The next word is camaraderie. It means feeling of friendship. Camaraderie with the local people is very important for soldiers. Overwhelming. Let's see its meaning. It means very great or intense. It was an overwhelming idea. Annihilation means complete destruction. Science does not allow the annihilation of the world. Violate, disobey law. Few companies violate its customers' privacy. In today's lesson, let's see, here we have somebody who is actually teaching, making the children enjoy this essay. So let's catch up with them and see what we have to learn in today's class. If you're so clever, why are you so poor? This is a popular expression. Now, why is that some of us still decide to become scientists despite the fact that businessmen, lawyers and doctors enjoy a much higher income? Yes. Now, who do you think the word you in the expression is referring to? If you are so clever, why are you so poor? Now, connect this with this paragraph. Why is that some of us still decide to become scientists despite the fact that businessmen, lawyers and doctors enjoy a much higher income? Yes, the word you refers to the scientists. So, here Kellis Baruch is actually talking about scientists and their importance here. Now, he continues to write. He picks a quotation from the very famous Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. What does he write here? A writer is not merely a person who writes. A writer is a person who cannot live without writing. See, this is so beautiful, children. Now, how does Kellis connect this with what he has to tell in this essay? Now, he is connecting it with the question, why scientists are poor? Now, he says, similarly, a scientist cannot live without being involved in scientific research. So, here he is connecting or he is writing this quotation because he wants to relate it with the lives of scientists also.
If scientists do not get money, why do they take up that profession?
Science is an interesting or exciting adventure. Major rewards come from the discovery itself. Scientists also have the freedom, camaraderie, independence and overwhelming joy of uncovering nature's mysteries. Yes, do you see here? Look at these people. They are so happy finding new friends. And do you recognize this, children? Who is this? Yes, Archimedes. Now, when Archimedes was given a problem to solve, where did he solve it? He had to find out the displacement. He had to find out how much gold was there in the crown. If there is a mix, how much of it was a mix in the crown? Now, how did he find a solution to it? He found a solution to the problem. He found the displacement theory when he was in his bathtub. And what did he do? He came out overwhelmed because he had uncovered a mystery. Now, when he stepped into the bathtub, some amount of water came out. That was when he discovered the law of displacement. Now, imagine it would have made him so happy, overwhelming joy. Therefore, scientists get this overwhelming joy. Scientists also get instant understanding, efficiency of thought and action, and good feeling when they work with other like-minded scientists. Let's see how Kellis was enjoying his work. It was 1960, the height of the Cold War. I was in Moscow doing research on the theory of seismic waves, tremors generated by an earthquake. I was absorbed in my problem. I enjoyed the mathematical challenge. I did not give much thought to how it connects with the real life. Then, when and how did Baruch realize the importance of his research? Read on, children. The summons came from the president of Russian, the then Soviet Academy of Sciences. He had received a message from the Palace of Nations in Geneva, where technical experts from the Soviet Union, that is USSR today, United States and the United Kingdom, three powers possessing nuclear weapons, met behind closed doors. The president showed me a letter from Geneva. An American scientist, Frank Press, quoted my work while arguing with Moscow experts. And to my great surprise, I found myself in Geneva. Where did Baruch go?
Geneva.
Why did he go there?
To attend a meeting with technical experts from 3 countries.
Right. Do you know what these 3 countries are called? Okay, I shall tell you. They are called superpowers. Who had recommended Baruch's name to the president of Russian Academy of Sciences?
An American scientist, Frank Press. Why did experts from 3 countries meet?
Let us continue to read the essay and understand. At that time, every man, woman, and child on the earth lived under the fear of annihilation by nuclear weapon. Each superpower had more than enough nuclear bombs to destroy the others in the first strike. But in the 20 minutes it took for the rockets to reach their targets, the other side had plenty of time to launch retaliation strikes, ensuring the destruction of their enemies only a few minutes later. Children, let's see an illustration to understand this. Now one country is angry, it launches a bomb, the other has also done so. Now this was called mutually assured destruction, which has an acronym MAD. This threat of mutually assured destruction with the ominous acronym MAD was for some years the only thin thread protecting all of us from the common fatal fate. So this was what prevented the two sides, two blocks from launching nuclear weapons onto each other. Continuing nuclear tests meant development of even stronger bombs, introducing even more imbalance into the global nuclear standoff. The 3 nuclear powers were willing to come to an agreement putting a ban on the nuclear weapon test. And hence, the technical experts were summoned to solve the problem that arose. Now, did you understand why the 3 countries had come together to meet? Yes. Would this be a permanent solution? Let's see if we can understand it. Let's read on. In formal terms, the problem was the following. Suppose that, imagine, the nuclear powers had signed agreement to stop the test of the new nuclear weapons. And one of the participants, that is either UK, USA or USSR, had violated this agreement and secretly made an underground nuclear explosion. Then the actual question or the problem was, how can the other powers, other superpowers detect the violation of the law, detect the violation of the signed agreement? Okay, now let's quickly understand this problem again. Now for the Cold War, yes, there was MAD, mutually assured destruction, which was holding them back from putting a bomb on the other country. Now, in order to stop the nuclear test, what did they sign? They signed a nuclear test ban treaty. They signed an agreement. Yes. Now, what was the actual problem? Detection of the violation of the law. Agreement sign ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಅವರು ಪರಿಪಾಲಿಸದೆ ಹೋದರೆ, ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಾಂಬ್ಗಳ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಭೂಮಿಯ ಒಳಗೆ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದರೆ, then how to find out, and even if you find out, how would they find out that there was violation? Yes, here is the actual problem, children. Now, what was the solution to save mankind then? Come on, read on. It turned out that this problem had a direct connection with the theory of seismic waves. Underground nuclear explosions produced earth tremors very similar to those generated by earthquakes. How could one then distinguish the natural tremors from the ones produced by the explosion? Suddenly, my theoretical knowledge had a direct application in the area of survival of the humankind.
Ma'am, can you explain how Baruch's work was the solution?
Yes, Baruch was an expert in studying the mathematical calculations of the seismic waves generated during an earthquake. Can you see the seismograph here? On the seismograph, when there is a tremor, there is a needle which draws a graph. So that shows that there has been a tremor. So at the background you can see the graph. Now he could convince the leaders of the superpowers, leaders of the three superpowers USA, UK and USSR, that any underground nuclear explosion could be easily detected by the kind of the wave they generated, as it would be totally different from that generated naturally. That means the tremors or the waves seismic waves generated by natural earthquake is different from the seismic waves generated by underground nuclear explosions. So, he brought this to the knowledge of the technical experts, and thereby they decided to sign the nuclear ban treaty. Now, do you understand, children? Till now he was not knowing how his studies would help mankind, but all of a sudden there was a very practical use of his work. Let us summarize what we have learned till now. Kailis Baruch was doing research on seismic waves. And when he was doing this, what happened? A meeting of the three superpowers was held at Geneva. And what was supposed to happen at Geneva? The superpowers were to sign an agreement. And Kailis Baruch was invited to the meeting, as his research could save mankind from destruction through nuclear explosions. Now, it's time to check our comprehension, children. Let's answer a few questions. Now, I want you to tell me if these sentences are true or false. Are you ready? A war was going on between the USA, UK and USSR when the meeting was called at Geneva. Is this true? No, it's false. The war had ended. Everyone lived under fear of annihilation by nuclear weapons. True or false? Yes, it's very true. People were all very scared. They were living in fear, constant fear. In a nuclear war, the one who strikes first is the survivor. Yes, remember the illustration that came up? No, there is no survivor. The superpowers were ready to put a ban on nuclear tests. Is it true or false? Yes, true. That's why they had come together to Geneva. Now, answer these multiple choice questions. Find out if they are correct. Kailis Baruch was doing his research on nuclear weapons, seismic waves, Cold War. What was he doing his research on? Let's check the answer. Nuclear weapons? No. It's not Cold War. So, our answer is seismic waves. Let's look at the next question. For some years, MAD was protecting humanity from annihilation, helping man to prepare stronger bombs, keeping humans in fear. Now think, let's check the answer now. Yes, keeping humans in fear is wrong. Helping man to prepare stronger bombs is also wrong. MAD did not help. So the right answer is MAD was protecting humanity from getting totally distracted. Now let's answer some of these questions. How are underground nuclear explosions similar to natural earthquakes? Understand the question, children? Now come on, give the answer. Yes, both generate tremors. So this is the similarity between natural earthquake and an earthquake generated by underground explosion. What rewards does a scientist enjoy? Yes, they enjoy freedom, camaraderie or friendship, independence and the basic joy of discovery itself. So these are the 4 important things. Let's learn another concept today. Collocative words. What are collocations? Collocations are words that go together naturally in the language when we are speaking or in English. For example, when we are talking, we talk of heavy traffic, heavy rain, heavy truck, heavy taxes and heavy snow. There are a lot of such words. So, here we say that the word heavy collocates with the word traffic. Heavy collocates with rain. Similarly, it collocates with the words truck, taxes and snow. Now, there are so many such words in your text also. So, I want you to do an assignment, simple assignment today which you can take. The first assignment is find the meaning of these words using a dictionary. Note down, children: persistent, immersion, forensic, trigger. Look up into a dictionary and find the meaning of these words. Now look at the questions that come up here. Write it down. Name the 3 superpower countries. Next one. Why was Careless Baroque's name suggested by Frank Press to the president of Russian Academy of Sciences? Now, here is an extract from the lesson. Look at the statement, I found myself in Geneva. Now, this is the question. You have to answer these questions. What are the questions? Write it down. Who said this? How did the speaker feel when he said this? Why did he go to Geneva? So, these are the 3 questions I want you to answer. Now, I want you to match the words in orange boxes with their collocative words in the blue boxes. So, I have given a set of words here. There are some words which collocate with more than one words also, but at least one I want you to do it. Now, if you look into the first 7 paragraphs of the lesson, you will get these words. You will be able to do this exercise. Note it down, children. Exciting, nuclear, seismic, sign, technical, solve, super, violate. So, these are the words in the orange box. Now, let us look at the words in the blue boxes. Experts, wave, adventure, problem, weapons, laws, agreement, powers. Now, let us quickly do another simple activity, but I want you to do it at home. I am sure you will be able to identify this. Here is a simple article on space exploration. I want you to find certain mistakes which are there in it. It can be a spelling mistake, it can be a capitalization mistake, or sometimes there can also be omissions. Some words would have been left out. So, I want you to find all these mistakes on reading this very short passage. Write it down, children. I shall read it out for you. Space exploration is an big part of American history. It has been shrouded to controversy for years. Space exploration are defined the investigation of physical conditions in space and on stars, planets and their moons through the use of artificial satellites, space probes and spacecrafts with human crews. Space exploration inspires and enlightens every person which comes in contact with it. One example of an inspiring event in space exploration was the Apollo project. The Apollo missions is rarely disastrous but often successful and triumphant. Thank you, children, for giving a patient hearing. Special thanks to all the students who have participated.